Hi.
And we're live. How we doing, Ben?
Yeah, good. Thanks, man. How's it going?
Yeah, not too bad, man. I'm glad we've got this finally sorted. We're on a new
It's taken a while
today. We're not using Zoom like we usually do, but we feel like this is actually not a bad way to be doing the podcast going forward, especially with so much tennis happening thick and fast. It's a good way to get more content out without having to like edit and just record them and just change. It just takes too long usually, doesn't it?
I don't think people want to hear about that though.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously there's tennis going on at the moment. Bringing you first live podcast. We got Norrie, Davidovich, Fokina playing at the moment. Davidovich Fokina having another amazing match right now. He's nearly taking the third set there against Cam Norrie in what could go all the way to 5, I think.
Well, you fancied Norrie, didn't you, for that one?
I did, but I still think he could still put it through. You've already seen he's done it against Schwartzman, so there's nothing to stop another Cam Norrie comeback, I don't think.
Yeah, it's a tight game, to be fair. Both of them are really top players, but like you said, I think 5 sets is quite a good prediction on how far this one's going to go.
Well, and one on yesterday, didn't I? I said Kukushkin in 5. He was up against. Who was he up against again? Kukushkin. It was up against Garin, yeah. So that was a really good result for Kukushkin. But yeah, let's just crack on and talk about some of the results from yesterday, because there so many amazing matches, and I'm surprised we haven't spoken about them until now.
I'll get the stream up now for like a screen.
Yeah. So we start at the top there. Matteo Berrettini, Ugo Humbert, and I didn't really see that going any other way than a Berrettini win, to be honest, and that's what happened. Straight sets, completely cruised through, really, against the young Frenchman.
Yeah, it's too powerful, isn't he? He's a brilliant player, and one we don't really talk about enough. Obviously, we saw him win UTS recently, but I don't know if you saw one of the shots he made. A lot of people on Twitter and that were calling it the shot of the tournament so far.
Yes,
it was where he was pushed out wide. He just hit some mad forehand round the side of the net. It was pretty crazy.
If there was a crowd there, he would have been in the crowd, I think. That's how far that
it was very Rafa-esque, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, it was crazy. He was literally just touching the sideboards just when he actually hit it, pretty much. And then he snuck it around the side post, which we're starting to see this more frequently these days. The athletic ability of tennis players in this day and age, we're actually getting to see more and more crazy shots. I think all of these players, they can sprint so fast, they can like stretch their legs like the splits, like Djokovic, stuff like this. You're just getting to see superhuman people on court, and I think it's super exciting. It just adds to the game these days.
Yeah.
But
I completely agree. Before we go on to who he's been playing next, just shout out to Davor in the comments. Good to see someone watching live.
Yeah,
sorry, we kept you waiting. We was having a few difficulties getting set up.
And you, Paul.
Yeah, and Paul as well. We know he's always commenting. He loves it.
Yeah, he loves it. But yeah, Rusevori versus Rude. I saw in some comments on another YouTube channel that there was, was it 6 U's in 2 surnames, which is a bit of a weird thing to have. Weird observation, but yeah, very uncommon. But it was the match that I sort of was looking forward to most in this round, because they're two such bright young prospects. But I'm not sure what happened. Maybe it was too much too soon for Rusevori, or the 5 sets against Bedeni. Was he injured, or was he just fatigued? I couldn't tell. At the end of that second set, he looked done, and I
don't know about that. To be fair, I wouldn't say he was fatigued. I think it was actually a really close match. I didn't really see much between them. I think the scoreline makes it look a bit more one-sided than what it was. A lot of the time, Rude was saving a lot of break points. And it was a lot of juice matches, which he was able just to get through and hold, which is vital at this level. But like you said, we showed the graphic last week of Ruud's topspin. It's one of the best in the game on his forehand and backhand side. So this guy has got raw ability, and we've seen him for a few years now. Like we was talking about him last year, about how he's one of the up and coming young players who could win a lot of things. Since then, he won a clay tournament at the beginning of the year.
Yep.
And predominantly clay court player, but he can do both. And very impressive against Ruusuvuori. I think a little bit more experience on this stage. Obviously, Ruusuvuori is his first slam, so there's a bit of the two Ruud come on top.
Still very good though for Ruusuvuori, because to beat someone like Bedeni in the first round, and Casper Ruud is one of the hot young prospects. He's just that next level above Ruusuvuori at the moment. He's already been through what Ruusuvuori went through, and now he's really getting into the groove in the Grand Slams, I feel. I'm really excited to see more what he will do at the French than what obviously he came up against Federer last year, and I stupidly did one of my things where I was so on the bandwagon for Ruud. I thought he was for Ruud. I thought he was going to beat Federer, but he lost in straight sets. So one of my classic. I got too carried away yet again. But
I remember that well. He was in the office and you was bigging him up like next level.
Oh mate, well, he's a talent, and that top spin was evident against Ruusuvuori. He can really finish off points very, very comprehensively with that top spin. So,
Anyway, let's just move down the draw.
Yeah, let's have a look down.
Let's have a look down. This game, not really much to report on. It's not the most exciting. They're not two names that stand out, and we're going to get overly excited about. Escobedo, was actually the favourite in this tie. Obviously, being the US guy, but for me, I've kind of I don't know. I think Caruso generally is the better tennis player. Escobedo's got a really good forehand, but wasn't much to report on there. Caruso went through in the end in 4 sets. And this game was actually, I don't know, it started off the Rublev we know, like the just sheer power, just completely dominated him. But Barrère sort of grew into the match as it went on. And there was a close third set where he kept breaking Rublev back, but wasn't enough really. Again, it's just a golfing class, I feel.
Yeah, I was going to say about Andrei Rublev. I think he's just doing well because I didn't back him to win the tournament this time. I backed him on the last tournament and he went out in the first round.
I think you backed him on one of the other ones at the beginning of the year as well.
Mate, if I back people, they tend to drop out pretty sharpish. So,
well, we're speaking to Jenny Donskoy as well, isn't he, in quarantine, and he was telling us how much Andrei Rublev loves tennis and how he trains more or less every day. When he was injured, he was just missing it so much. He was just watching clips of it and he just misses tennis. He's one of the guys you can't get away from tennis. He's probably never going to retire. He's going to be like endless, like Federer.
For sure. I think so. I think he's one of those players, like you said, you've seen his training regimes, you see how intense he is even in those. And I just feel he's been touted by Federer, people like that. That's the name that they picked out as the person they think is going to become one of the next big stars in the sport, which is pretty high praise from someone like Federer, to be honest.
Yeah.
But looking at those, I mean, he obviously goes through to play Caruso. I'd fancy him to just clean up there, to be honest. I mean,
I'm more interested in the round afterwards. It could potentially be a Rublev Berrettini.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, don't rule out Ruud.
No, I'm not going to rule out Ruud. He could do it, but looking at the favourites, you'd fancy Berrettini, Rublev. And I remember that tie a few times, actually. I forget what events it might have been. I don't want to say it, but I think they could have played in the Australian Open. And Berrettini finished him off quite easily.
I mean,
I don't have the stats of hand, but I know that Berrettini, I think he's won the head-to-head more times than Rublev has. So you'd fancy him there. It'll be a close match. It'll be a good match for sure to watch.
That's like another level again, isn't it? It's just there's levels in tennis, and there's the Ruusuvuori, the Ruud, and then a Berrettini. And you just expect these players to win each time, so it puts a little bit of pressure on Berrettini, really.
And then who's above that? Well, you've got like the teams for Tsitsipas, and then above that again.
Yeah.
I think above that again, you've got about a space, and then you've got another space, and then another space, and then you've got Federer and Nadal. And then Djokovic at the moment just edging them as well, just above them, just looking down on them.
It's incredible. But the next match I just want to speak about, because I was watching this one last night and I just thought standard of tennis was amazing. Dimitrov versus Martin Fucsovics, and Fucsovics is one of these players, and we keep on saying it. You can't sleep on Martin Fucsovics because he is dangerous, and he all goes under everyone's radar. He's probably one of the most underrated players on the men's tour, sure. And he took set off Federer in the last Grand Slam, and he's there doing it again. And this one, it was not an easy match, but the fact that he still looked fresh in that final set, and I thought that was what was so impressive. Dimitrov seemed to, I don't know, he was wilting a little bit in that final set. He was definitely struggling, and he cleaned up pretty easily in that final set. And
I'm going to play a bit of a devil's advocate here, Ben.
Go on, then.
With Dimitrov, obviously he's had quite a bad sort of strain of coronavirus recently. Do you think that's had an impact on his body sort of long term in terms of, is that affecting him in this tournament?
You never know, but then again, Djokovic has had it as well, and he seems to be doing all right. So, but can you compare the two? Can you? So I don't know if you can or not.
Oh, we've got Jeremy in the comments. What's he saying?
I don't know.
Dimitrov did it again.
Yeah, he lost the one match. I think it's one of those things, isn't it? Dimitrov is one of those players who we always say it's just a dangerous selection sometimes.
Yeah,
and just you expect him to win, and then he just suddenly will just come up with these bizarre losses in his career all the way through the year, really. And this is another one of those. He should have really sealed it.
He had the match won. He really did. And in case of it's just wilted out in the end. But you've got to give a lot of praise to Fucsovics, I feel. A lot of people don't know too much about him, like you said, but he's an incredible player. You always see him at the slams. He does perform as well.
We saw him.
It was a bit disappointed at Wimbledon. We was watching the match, wasn't we? We didn't stay for the whole thing because it was going on for about 5 hours, I think.
It was Panini, wasn't it? Yeah. That was an incredible match, though. 5-setter yet again. And it goes to show he pushes all of those top players. And he took a set, obviously, off Federer as well. This is like somebody who needs to be recognized by just the neutral tennis fan. And hopefully that type of result will put him on the map a bit more.
Yeah.
And same goes probably for the next person who we should speak about. Francis Tiafoe turned up last night, and in style. He did the exact same thing as what Martin's done there. He's just come 2-1 down, and then he's just taken those final 2 sets, and really impressive performance as well. And we've both not had the best things to say about Tiafoe in the previous few episodes.
I feel like we've been quite negative really towards him. We're not really massive fans of his style of play and what he brings to tennis. But a lot of people did remind us after that video about what he's like. This guy's still a young guy. He's got a lot of potential. And he proved us wrong, because we both fancied Millman for this tie, and it looked like it was going to be that way, especially after the 3rd set. But he dug in and showed a lot of fight and played some really good tennis and managed to win. So fair play to TFI.
I know. I just think that it seemed like quite an even match, though. Like if you looked at the stats and stuff, all of them across the board were pretty even. Even TFO actually had much more unforced errors than Millman with 73 and less winners. But it just goes to show.
Yeah, but Millman's more out there, isn't he? He's trying to make things happen more than TFO, I'd say.
He's a little bit more he's a little bit more aggressive. Yeah, for sure. I would totally agree with that. But yeah, that's an exciting match for probably both of those players in the next round, because either of those would probably fancy their chances, to be honest, to make it into the 4th round. And that moves us on nicely to the next one, who, for me, you've said it before the tournament even started, for me, standout player of the tournament so far, if you're not talking about any of the top people, JJ Wolf. I mean,
the mullet.
Round of applause for that mullet and for the performances, because this is somebody who some people might not have even heard his name before this tournament. And the way he's dispatched some of these players is quite incredible. He hasn't really even struggled any of these first few matches. He had a set taken off him against Pella where he looked like he had a bit of an absent-minded set. In this latest match, Kabai's Bainer, he's not a bad player. He's just outside top 100, 101. And he's just taken him out with ease, really.
But I don't know. JJ Wolf's not played anyone particularly brilliant. Let's see him against one of the top 50 guys or something like that. I think he'll give him a lot more of a game.
Yeah.
Granted, he played Pella, and Pella's a bit. I don't want to dismiss Pella, but he's had a lot of off-court problems of late. I'm not sure if he's. I think that probably would have a bit of an impact on his game. He didn't even know if he was going to be there or allowed to play. So
the style that he beat him. I was watching the last set of that match, and he seemed to power him off the court. His serving was really, really good in the match, and he was following it up each time with very, very powerful, accurate corner strikes. And he still comes to the net. He finishes points off well, and there's just an air of confidence which is coming out of him, which is great to see from someone that age. And I'm hoping he can carry that confidence in to the next match, which is against, obviously, he's in hot form at the moment, Thiem and Medvedev.
Oh, now the tournament started for him, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he took out, friend of the podcast, Chris O'Connell, who we spoke to, I think it was maybe a month ago or so, and he was saying he was hoping to play in the US Open. I was actually speaking to him earlier today, just after the match, just getting his thoughts on the match. He just said, I was just saying, well done. He actually played a really great match, to be honest. And I thought that the commentators on the match, they were just all praise for Chris O'Connell. He was saving break points left, right, and centre on his own serve. This is just credit to him, because Medvedev just doesn't go away. He's so powerful, so accurate, so fast around the court, so difficult to play against. And he just said, it was a great experience to be at the US Open. Obviously, he beat Jer in the first round, but he said, it's just it was too tough. It's just quality. And it went to show Medvedev, even with a tough competitor like O'Connell, he just somehow breezed through in straight sets.
It's going to be really tough for JJ Wolf to even be competing in that match. He's not going to be expected to win or even take a set, to be fair. But I think it's going to be pretty tricky. I wouldn't underestimate him. A man in form is a man to be feared about, for sure.
I'm excited.
No, it's just something I want to add on to this. Yeah. We've got the French Open coming up soon, and we've got players like Alcaraz, Musetti. We want to see them at the French Open, and this just shows that someone like JJ Wolf, they're very much, I feel, similar caliber on different surfaces. So you've got Alcaraz and thing. They can do the same kind of level of tennis on clay courts. Just give them a chance. That's what we need. We need to see them in these events. And how exciting will a Roland Garros be if they're there and be playing in it? Because we've seen what JJ Wolf's been able to do. And even Rusevori, to a point, he's only his first slam. So, I was going to just add that because I thought it was important.
That's what I was going to say as well, was that thanks for bringing that up. If Rusevori had the same route as JJ Wolf, he'd probably be in the same situation, I think.
Exactly, yeah, I agree.
Look at the route he had. He had Bedeni and Ruud. That's not an easy start. That's like... two really tough players coming up against two pretty much top 30 players in your first two matches. And I think he gave a good account of himself, so he can leave with his head held high.
Thanks, Jovan, as well, for the comment. This is live. We are live, and hopefully you're thinking this is live because we're enjoying it. So
yeah, exactly.
Appreciate it.
Move on to the next part, which is my man. He had a little scare, but he made it through. Roberto Bautista Agut is now through to the next round. He gave me a little bit of a scare there, but who didn't in this round a little bit? Djokovic lost a set to Edmund as well, so I don't mind. He's had a busy week the last week as well, so Bautista Agut, I think it was still a little bit more of a workmanlike performance. He's just so good, isn't he? Watching him play, I still can't get over it's just the accuracy of his striking, which is really bewilders me when I watch him. But that second set wasn't really like him. Kekmanovic upped his level a bit, but Bautista Agut, I don't know. He just took over. I think he just dictates the play so well.
I was really impressed with Kecmanovic, so yeah, I've not rated him enough. Like in my mind, in my mental rankings, Kecmanovic jumped a few places for sure.
What makes you say that? I mean.
No, I never rated him as highly as I did after seeing him play against Agut. And not just that, there's been a few games of late. I remember seeing him playing in was it Next Gen he was playing in the Fast Four, and a few of them matches as well I was really impressed with too. But just in general, I just feel like after this Agut performance, the way he played, he was right in that match, and Agut is in some of the form of his life as well. So it wasn't easy. But then that sets up a nice tie against, well, this is the upset of the tournament so far, you could say, right?
I saw the matchup, and we know how good Vasek Pospisil is as well. We know, like, we saw him in some of those ATP events, and he was beating some really good people, even though he's like low ranked and he's coming back, and we know that what his real, like, his limit is so high. So I wasn't that surprised, to be honest, to see him take out Raonic. Has been in hot form, but don't forget he did play all the way to a final last week as well, and that can sometimes take it out of someone, especially with someone like Pospisil as well. He gets around the court so much. He's a very busy player on the court, and I think he made Raonic work like very, very hard in this match, and that was
I think it's
evident.
a Djokovic effect. Playing Djokovic in this sport demoralize you and physically drain you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I was really impressed. Well, Raunic's serve was still banging, but it wasn't. It still had its lapses, and Pospisil was consistent the whole way through the match. And
I don't think anyone would have called that result. It's a fair play to Pospisil because it's a brilliant achievement.
I'm scared now. Some of Batista a good scuff against Pospisil in the next round. I'm just hoping that he can squeeze past. Hopefully that took a bit out of him, but I don't know. That's an exciting one.
Water as well. This one.
Yeah, it's very exciting. These third round matches that are coming up. I'm totally gassed for a few of these. I can't wait for them to get going.
Yeah,
but yeah, we had your lad next. Your outsider,
my dark horse, mate.
Your dark horse.
To be fair, these next two matches we're going to discuss, they looked very comfortable. First two sets, you're thinking this is going to be over soon, and one of them turned out like that. But the other one, well, he made a bit of a hash of it, to be fair, de Minaur. He was 5-1 up, I think, in the tie-break or something ridiculous. He was winning the tie-break, and then he lost 6 points on the bounce and ended up losing that tie-break from the brink of winning the match. And then from that moment on, I was just a bit unsure. Is it going to go to a fifth? I think Gasquet was pushing a lot on the foot in the fourth set. I'm not sure if Gasquet had a break in that one, but he was certainly pushing de Minaur. De Minaur looked really good, though. I was really impressed with his game overall. He just faltered a bit in that third set and even the fourth, but he managed to pull through and win. And then he played the other guy, Khachanov, who won, playing at about 70%. Kuznetsov just was no match, really.
With the de Minaur win, something about Gasquet, which is always strange with his game. He plays like his best tennis when he's on the back foot all the time. He doesn't ever come out and win the first few points of the match, or of the game rather, and then he's already got the front foot and then keeps winning. He'll go like love 30 down, and then he starts having to hit really hard shots all the time, and starts bringing out all of his best tennis. Why can't he just do it from the start? They'd be like so much better off every time he's playing. I just noticed that from him. He just has this like mentality where he needs something to get him going. He needs like a jolt. Come on, you're in a game here, but too little, too late. And Alex de Minaur is obviously one of these people who could go quite far in this competition if he gets past Karen Khachanov and then potentially Batista Agut. Hopefully not. We could have a matchup on our hands if they.
I think Agut's too good, man. But you never know. But moving down, this is where we was potentially getting excited about an all English fourth round. It's not going to happen. Hopefully, I don't know. We don't know because it's not going to happen. Certainly all English, but Dan Evans could still go through. He's playing Moutet at the moment, when that's been called off. So we'll just skip that one. But talking about Felix, Andy Murray, what did you make of that?
I think that was the sort of the main talking point, really. I was a bit sad watching it, and it just felt like a an old man versus a young boy a little bit. I just felt like Murray obviously not back fully fit again after the last match, or he just looked like he was struggling around the court and laboured.
Them
And
5 sets took a lot out of him, didn't it?
and Felix looked better than ever, like he's ever looked. He was hitting harder than ever I've seen him hit. He was hitting the court. Murray, Murray's serves were some of the worst serving he's done in a while. Like his second serves, I think they said were like 70 miles an hour or 70. You can't do that against someone as hard. They were just flying past him before he'd even finished his service action. I think it was crazy. Don't know what was going on, but Murray, fair play to him. He's come back. He's had 2 really good results on the comeback. He had the win against Zverev. He had the great comeback against Nishioka. He's given us something to talk about, and it's just great to see him playing Grand Slam tennis again. But yeah, Felix, he's the next breed, and in a way, that was what we were hoping for from this tournament anyway, from the start. I was hoping the next gen of players we're going to see who is going to be the next challengers for Grand Slams, and he can be one for the future who could be winning multiple Grand Slams. That's what I think.
Yeah, well, on the topic of English talent,
Yeah.
Sumner Lennon has just brought a comment saying Norrie mentally just lost it. What's he doing? Is he losing?
He's now Davidov. I'm never going to get this right. Davidovich Fokina has 5-1. He's 5-1 up in the final. Well, not final set. It pretty much is 4th set. So he's serving it out. It's I don't know what's happened to Norrie here. I had it on, but it said the event has ended, even though it's not finished yet, apparently. So Amazon's already ruled him as lost already by the looks of it. But yeah, it's not showing up on here. It's
Fokina's my guy, man. I love the Brits, obviously. You got to back them, but Fokina's so good.
And that's another case of it. Another super young player who is very good on clay and now proving himself on hard court. And super excited to see him in the French as well. Oh, what's going on?
Oh, sorry.
A few technical difficulties.
That's right.
But yeah. So yeah, that's all over now. Yeah, it's saying it's all finished. 6-1 in the final set there. So well done, Davidovich Fokina. An amazing win there.
Still a good tournament though for
Cam Norrie. Yeah,
for Norrie. You can't be too hard on him.
No, for sure.
But anyway, we'll get on to that because we've got a lot of them matches we'll be talking about on next. Well, maybe we'll do another live one if you guys like this setup. Let us know what you think of it. But the other 2 games, we'll just get through these. So before we get on to the women's, is we had Silits versus Gombos.
Bang.
That was a really tight game. Really tight game. I actually predicted that Gombos would win that match.
Oh,
and I don't know. No, I know that. I know it's a bit silly, but for some reason, the more I'm getting into tennis and the more I'm watching a lot more tennis, I always see a lot of good in these underdogs, and I feel like they've always I believe in them more than they probably believe in themselves.
Yeah. I know what you mean. We see them in the challenges so regularly that we're sort of so gassed to see them finally in slams that we're riding the hype train all the time, like with the JJ Wolves, the Ruusuvuoris, like even Davidovich Fokina. See, they come good eventually.
That's what I'm saying. So we've always been a bit like that, haven't we? Because we love our challenger tennis, but it was a bridge too far. Silits was too good. I was watching a lot of this match, and I feel like there was a lot of set point opportunities for Gombos, especially in the 3rd set. I think even he had a few in the 4th set as well. He just couldn't take him. Silits was able to pull off aces when he needed to at the most important times. When he was ever down or under pressure, he pulled out an ace. And to have that in your locker is just, but that is the difference really between progressing to the next round and not.
I don't forget, he was a Grand Slam champion, US Open champion. So
Silits he's a quality champion. He's a champion.
He's so good. Come on, let's give him credit. I mean, he's a little bit long in the tooth these days. He's a little bit, but he's got further than Murray, but probably hasn't had the same sort of injuries.
But also, I just want to say fair play to Gombos. Played a good match. It was a bit unlucky in the end. But now it sets up a really good tie. Down the bottom of the draw, we've got Dominic Thiem. He beats Summit Nagal. Wasn't really much to talk about there. Beat him 6-3, 6-3, 6-2.
That'd be interesting next
Thiem's finding a bit of form.
Finally.
About time, isn't it?
Yeah, he's sneaking along that bottom of the drawer, isn't he? He's just hoping that no one notices him or
But on the
starts.
women's, we've got what? Kvitova. She's at the bottom, sneaking along the bottom.
Yeah, she's
And
nice.
we've got Thiem sneaking along this bottom.
Yeah, I think that these people we're going to start
These two are a bit.
noticing.
Yeah, you never know. Could we see a Kvitova team double?
Oh, that would be.
Anyway, we're not going to jump the gun on that. But Dominic Thiem, like you say, won that comfortably. It sets up a good match. Do you think Silits is going to cause too many problems for Thiem?
Maybe one set, but I think Thiem will get it done in 3 or 4. I don't see it going any further than that. I think Thiem's warming up now, like you've just seen. So, yeah. I think that sort of rounds up the whole of the rest of round 2 there. But yeah, look forward to seeing. Hopefully, Dan Evans makes it through the rest of his match, and we can see Evans Felix next round. I'll be excited for that one too.
Yeah, nice one. So let's move on to the women's.
Yes,
we'll just get the draw up. But before we did that, oh no, we got it up now, didn't you?
Yeah, got it.
Nice one. So let me just add that. There we go.
Oh, can just announce that there's Krajinovic and Goffin are playing at the minute, and Goffin took the first set pretty surprisingly 6-1, and now they're in a tiebreak in the second. Goffin's got set point at the moment, 6-5 in the tiebreak, but it's just on serve. Yeah, on serve. Krajinovic.
Mate, this is huge. If Goffin can take this set, I think that will be.
Goffin's so tough to beat.
Oh, what a player, man!
He's a Grand Slam player for sure. He's really ups his level for the slams. And Krajinovic, we know how good he's been playing from last week as well at the Masters. So it'd be impressive if he can dispatch him in 3 or something. I'll be really impressed.
Yeah, agreed.
Let's move on to the ladies.
That's really exciting. There's a lot to talk about, and there's been a few I would class as major upsets in this side as well. But if we just start off, we had Madison Keys. We'd kind of expect her to beat Bolsova, and she did. In very convincing fashion, 6-1. Same with Cornet against Bonaventure. Bonaventura was. I watched a bit of this actually because it was one of the late matches on. There wasn't much on, so I was watching it, and she was actually serving for the first set twice. So she was serving for the set twice and just couldn't take it. Ended up going to a tiebreak and lost the tiebreak, and then after that, it was an uphill climb. But that sets up a good next round match. Keys Cornet.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah, I mean, Keys she's been breezing through, isn't she? I mean, I watched some of the highlights of that one against Bolsova, and Bolsova's actually been playing really good tennis in the tournament up until she met Madison Keys. And Keys, she's not one I would have even put maybe for winning the thing, but she's been playing so well. I think she has to be considered very soon. If she gets past Cornet, she's going to be a real contender, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely don't rule her out. And then moving down, well, one of the fans of the podcast, Tig, lost, unfortunately. My new message. I know you message her quite a bit, then you're on Instagram.
Mate, the Tig, yeah.
Without sounding too weird.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that's sad because Donna Vekic is so good, though. It doesn't surprise me the result, just because I know I'd prefer the Tig on.
Vekic, I don't know. The last few games, she's not been very good. I don't think.
Up a little bit, hasn't it? But she still has the ability all the time, and she has a bigger power game. I prefer the Tig on clay, really, as well. To be honest, I think I've seen some of her better results there, but it's unfortunate. But she's up against now Vekic. That's probably the biggest shock of the round.
Well, this is the one I can't wait to talk about. Pironkova. I've been tweeting about her. I just want to give her like a lot of respect. Wow, what an achievement! She's been out of the game for however many years. A lot of people thought she was done, retired. She's come back, underdog in every match. No one really expected her to win a set, let alone a match. And she's just knocked out Garbi Muguruza, the finalist in Australian Open.
Impressive.
Someone who's won multiple slams, one of the most elite players on the women's tour right now, and she beat her relatively comfortable again. Muguruza was up a break. I think she was 5-3 up in that first set, and Pironkova come through and ended up winning it 7-5. and then just continued in that same vein of form into the second. And just, I don't know, just a lot of respect. She's just had a child, not been playing tennis. I just feel like this girl, like, I want her to do well. I'm really wishing her, I hope she can beat Vekic as well. I'm going to put it out there because she deserves it. Like, her tennis is a really exciting brand of tennis to watch, I feel.
I just think that first set was just so impressive, though. Just to see her like come back all the way from, yeah, she was 3-5. That was right, yeah, 3-5, and to win 4 games on the bounce, and just to take that set, it's just incredible, really. And against somebody who that was our pick to win. That was our favourite, Muguruza.
Yeah, we both said we thought Muguruza would win this tournament, so it just shows how much we know, mate.
Yeah, she got to the final of Australian Open, but we didn't anticipate someone like Pironkova coming in with
disrupting it.
Yeah, but Pironkova, she's been a breath of fresh air, really.
Yeah,
because we're so used to seeing just the same old names and the same people. Pironkova's, she's 32 years old, but she's come back in just amazing form. I just love to see that. Just love it. It's just a great story. And obviously, coming from Bulgaria, like a place close to my heart, it's great to see that too.
Yeah.
So,
it's a very unorthodox stroke. Have you seen her backhand? It's very unorthodox.
Yeah, it's a little bit strange, but it's getting the job done. That's what I mean. If you get the chance, just to flick onto some of the highlights, just to have a look at some of her strokes. But it's working for her, and I think maybe that unorthodox game she has confuses some of her opposition, which is, I think that's testament to her. Maybe it's about time that started paying dividends.
Yeah, well, we've got another question here from Sumna again. Why does Pliskova always bottle it in the slams?
It's true, isn't it? We spoke about this on the last episode. I mean, which Pliskova? I'm guessing you're talking about Karolina, not Christina. I don't understand it. I just think that some of the other like top players, it's so hard to be consistent in the women's game. Serena has made it
somehow. Number 1 seed. Come on,
I know, but she's made it look easy, Serena, when it really isn't in the women's game.
But the thing is, I understand what Sumner's saying here, because she's saying the fact that in the WTA tournaments, Carolina Pliskova looks unbeatable at times. She goes into a slam, she's not the same player. It seems to be some mental frailties there going on.
Possibly she just doesn't have that mental side of her game. I think it's sort of similar with her sister as well. I see the same sort of frailties, but her sister more so in just the normal WTA events. So it's a bit sad, because Pliskova is one of those people who has all of the elements to be able to win a slam, and it just would be nice to see her in like the latter stages a few more times.
For sure.
What can you do? She's gone out again, and it'll be at the advantage of all of these other people that are flying through. So we've got
the same question going to be asked. So who's next?
Yeah, but this is one person we've been speaking about a lot in the last week and this week, is Maria Sakkari, and she's still doing the thing. I think you said you thought Pera was going to take her out, but
well, Pera started really strong actually and was looking good. First set won at 6-2, but Sakkari's power just come through, and it was just too much in the end.
So powerful.
I'm really excited for this next round match. And another thing we should talk about is Scott. On the next round, Scott versus Anisimova. She won the first set, and we didn't really. I remember on another podcast, Scott. We don't even know who she is. We've actually looked into it, and we didn't realize she's only 16 years old.
Yeah.
US Open girls player. And she's, wow, what a talent to be doing that. Fair enough. And even in that second set, she was close. I wasn't sure if she was going to snatch it. She only got broken right at the death, and I think that sort of knocked the stuffing out of her. And Anisimova just had a bit too much in the end. But that sets up a really good match with Sakkari and Anisimova. I feel like if Anisimova starts slowly again, Sakkari will just finish her off quickly before she knows the game's over.
Powerhouse, isn't she?
Yeah.
Sorry. So,
anyway, just moving down, because we're not got too much time, so we get through these.
So
Stevens keeps going.
Yeah, she's doing very well, and she's set up a interesting third round match there. That'll be probably one of the ties of the round. Sloane Stephens versus Serena Williams. And notice something quite interesting upon the Serena Williams match. She's playing against Gasparian. And Gas- Gasparian's like quite an interesting player because she's probably one of the only female players to have a single-handed backhand. And it's quite nice to see, quite refreshing on the women's tour to see somebody embracing the Federer-esque backhand, but didn't work for her, unfortunately. Serena managed to wipe her off the court, but that's just the way it is. Serena Williams, no one's really talking about her, and that could do her the favors, I think, of maybe sneaking through this draw. You don't know. Never rule Serena Williams out. I think she has a chance in this tournament.
Yeah, for sure. We've got a few comments coming in, Ben. So we'll get through a few of them. Neil Yates saying he loves the live chat. Thanks, Neil, for joining us. We love your comments. We always see you there, so appreciate you joining us. And he asked a question. Felix looks... Oh, I'll let you read it. Felix looks really good. Do you think he has a chance at the title?
I think
we did speak about this at the beginning we did speak about Felix at the beginning of the video, so just wind back if you've not seen it. For me personally, I think he's playing some really good tennis, but as we've seen at the beginning of 2020, he got to a few finals and was unable to do that extra step. With the likes of players like Agut, Djokovic, Tsitsipas, I think against these guys, even Zverev, when he's firing, I think it's going to be difficult for him to sort of get through them. But you'd never put it past him as well. And I would like to see someone like Felix do well in this tournament and potentially win it.
Sure. But he will have very stiff opposition if he's to do so. This is the only thing. So he's going to have to get past either one of those top Medvedev's teams, Tsitsipas, Djokovic, all of those big boys will be waiting for him to try and knock him down a notch. So... Yeah. Well, let's move back to the women's because I want to speak about my girl who's made it through again, Victoria Azarenka, with ease. And if you watch this match, Sabalenka didn't even know what to do in this match. She was trying. She really tried.
It's the battle of the Enkas. We already had the battle of the Russes earlier. The Rus. So now we have the Lenkas.
Yeah, I mean, the Belarusians went up against her, and it's really great to see two people from this nation going up against each other. And then obviously they've got somebody else in the next round. Notably, my girl, Azarenka, made it through after her win, got her Masters title the week before. I think, she's going strong. For me, I'm really happy with that pick, and she looks strong. And in that match, she looked unflappable. And she's not the most powerful hitting player, but she gets everything back, even if they hit super, super hard, and gets it nicely angled each time. So her angles are so good. And that was what was causing Sabalenka just to hit unforced errors, really. I mean, they were sort of forced. You don't know. Sometimes they call them unforced errors when they're not. Sometimes they do the other way.
Yeah, it's hard to sort of classify what's an unforced error at times.
I mean, for me, Well, so Azarenka through, amazing performance. And she could be up against, for me, I think Vickery's probably going to take it. I think she's already a set up from the first.
I don't know. I'll mention towards Swiatek, to be fair.
Well,
I think she's so good.
I don't know if
Vickery winning already.
Yeah, I think she was a set up already from yesterday. So
okay. Yeah, I wouldn't put it past Swiatek though. Still, that's open. It's had a break in play as well. But we'll go down.
It's actually over.
Oh, was it?
Apologies. Yeah, sorry, I didn't see that.
Who won? Am I just going to sound like an idiot now?
No. You're correct. Swiatek won. What do I know? Oh, there you go. You know? That's classic. And somebody else.
Another 1-0 to JG there.
Yeah, it hasn't updated on the website. So apologies for that.
I thought that was one what was being suspended. I think it might be the Mertens one what's been suspended.
No, it was suspended before. But
okay.
Anyway, I mean, let's move down. And that's going to be interesting. So we've got Swiatek, Azarenka.
Yeah,
I fancy Azarenka. Obviously, I've got to say that. So
we can make it. Good player. Don't put it past her.
And then we've got Muchova against Kalinskaya. Muchova, I expected her to take that. She's one of the seeds. Kalinskaya, it was fairly comfortable-ish. And
then here we go. This is the shot. Joe Conter. This is the other Joe Conter.
I know that I don't want to say I said it, but I said it. And I said, well, I didn't say it on the podcast, but I said it to you in a private chat. I thought that it was going to be a big underdog win, 5-1 underdog. Sursteyer won. And Joe Conter goes crashing out. And it's not good for the Brits, but all the Brits
just
in the
so
men's
hit and
side.
miss, Joe Conter. She's top player. So close to winning the Masters last week, but just, I don't know, it's just missing, isn't it, something? She just has these games and the next week she's no good. And it's a bit disappointing for her because she started off really well in that match, but just faltered when it mattered, really.
Let's move down. I know you've got to shoot out fairly soon, so let's move down through the last few. We've only got a few more to tackle. These ones haven't been updated yet on here, but I can tell you that Mertens is 6-3 up and on serve in the second set. It's about 4-3 down.
Before you tell me, I'm going with McNally's winning against Alexova.
Correct. She won already. It's not even in place. She's through in the tiebreak in the final set against Alexandrova. And yet again, we see Alexandrova with another up and down performance. So what can you do about that?
I really like McNally. Obviously, it's a doubles partner of Corey Goff. She's a really good player. And funny enough, we was close to getting her on the podcast. She was going to come on, but it didn't. I don't know. I forget what happened now with that, but we was trying to sort it out. Hopefully she wins the US Open and we'll get her on after that for a reaction to that whole thing.
She'll be wanting to come on. Don't you worry about that. And then obviously in these last two, amazing. This is like an amazing match which we've been set up with now. Ons Jabeur and Sophia Kenin. But Kenin got through what could have been a real tricky match there. But this proves to me now Kenin is meaning business. And now for me, she's probably gone up to favourite for the tournament.
Oh, that's bold. She's not my favourite. For me, it's Osaka. And I'm glad you said that, actually, because it fits in nicely with something Sumner Lennon just said a second ago in the chat. A lot of people are talking on the chat now, Ben. Nice. Can you see it at all or not?
Yeah, I can see enough of it. I can see Neil and Michael. Yeah.
Anyway, so Sumner was just said, who are your favourites now for the women's title? Me personally, I'm going to go more for Osaka. And were you saying Kenin is your favourite?
I mean, I'm I've got to stick to my guns, haven't I? And still stick to my Azarenka. But I would say that I would probably see Kenin now. So she's coming into form now. We didn't think much of her at the beginning of the tournament. Now, I think that she could be rediscovering that Australian Open form, and that's what everyone wants to see. If she comes up against someone like Serena Williams, I think she'll beat her. And I think if she comes up again, I can't see anybody. Only Osaka. Osaka's probably the only person in the draw that I would think she might fear.
I think Osaka, if her hamstring's okay, I think she's the one to beat. I just don't. I think she's just in so much good form.
She's lost some sets though, and that's one thing. And I think Kenin, she's getting stronger. Osaka, you just don't know, do you? No, she's had that leg strapped up a little bit as well. So, yeah, interesting though.
For one sec, I've just lost the. Oh, there we go. Sorry, I lost where I was at for a moment. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, I think that rounds up our thoughts for this round. We'll do another one of these live podcasts if you actually enjoy it. We've got quite a bit of reaction, more than we anticipated. So
I think Sumner's correcting. He's saying he's a boy, bruv, mate. Did you say it was a girl?
Did I say it was a girl?
I don't know. Apologies.
Oh, apologies. I thought you was a guy, but for some reason, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. Sorry about that.
We're trying to do a podcast and read stuff. There's no there's no producer doing it. We're doing it all off our own back. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Anyway,
before we go, I just want to touch on what Michael quickly said, saying about how Felix would have to be like Sampras in 1990 in 2010 to win it, playing the zone the entire tournament.
Yeah.
I think that to be fair, but he's got to play out of his skin, the guy. He can't afford to be at 80%, 70%. He needs to be at 100% the whole time because there's some real top players in the men's side of the draw. So
Tom Rowley's made it into the Ending the live just at the end. But yeah, I think so. I think that's exactly right. I think Felix, if he puts a run together, but we've seen him bottle it in finals already on the ATP side. I don't see him, me personally, I don't see him winning it. I see him coming up short against some of the bigger names. So just see how he goes. I hope he does better than what I'm saying, but let's just see how he does.
I'll get Thomas Rowley on the screen because I know he would love a bit of that. We'll give him his limelight. But anyway, thanks for your comments, guys. I've got to shoot because I've got a tennis match at 7:30. I don't know how I'm going to make it in time for it. Thanks for your comments. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you've not already. And we'll see you on the next one.
Take care, guys.